everyone. It's about that time for happy hour with digifora. Cheers.
Cheers.
Boom.
I'm back on hot tea again. We're doing these too early in the day for it to actually be happy hour, even for me.
I'm just going to leave this one a mystery for you. So cheers.
Mystery juice.
It's so blue. Oh my
It's
gosh.
definitely blue. That's good times.
It's nothing too crazy because I am in wedding planning mode and not going to take those calories where I don't need them. So don't get your minds all crazy out there. That's where we're at.
It's good times. Good times.
So today on the Happy Hour podcast, our table talk discussion is about pitching to clients who don't know what they want. They come to us thinking they know what they want, but we often end up going on a path with them in a totally different direction.
Absolutely, we do.
And some of them, we open up questions and that leads them, I don't want to say away, but they just realize the problems they're dealing with is much greater than what they anticipated to begin with. And so, Justin, what have you found on this journey of dealing with clients who don't know what they want? What's something that's been pretty challenging about that?
Yeah, before I jump into that, we should put a disclaimer that say that all of our clients know this. And so we're not talking about any one of our clients. So if you're watching, you would know if we're talking about you because we've had this conversation with you. So I did have someone say the other day, like, you guys talk about your clients all the time. Like, do they know this about you? And by the time you and I get to happy hour, we're having a conversation literally with the world. Our clients are fully aware of what our thought processes are and what we're thinking about. So,
yeah. And we have that standing policy on happy hour of name, no shame. So they don't know who they are that we're talking about. Could be a totally different one. But it's a good thing that you're working with us because we're helping you work through these problems, right? Yeah. Otherwise, you'd be doing it on your own, I guess.
Yeah. Well, I mean, even back to your question, like what we tend to find out, I would say 50% of the time is our clients show up and say, hey, we need your help with X because we're having an issue. And they think that we can't seem to fix this one thing or get over the bridge to success in it. And they're just like doggedly focused on that KPI or getting over that bridge. Right. And really the issue is like 4 layers back. And that's the benefit of hiring a fractional CMO is we can come in and because I was in that seat too, right? When I was running marketing departments for organizations and agencies, like you just get so laser focused on something that you forget the peripheral. And so sometimes us coming in and saying, that's true. We do need to get there, but we got to go back and tear some ground up or tear up the ground or tear up the pavement a little bit and kind of rebuild the sidewalk to get there. So, I mean, that's part of it.
And some of my favorite clients that we've had have approached us with, we know something is wrong. We're not sure exactly what. So let's start with an audit. And I really appreciate the open-mindedness of that and the willing to invest in it because it is an investment. But we have not had a client where that investment of an audit has not paid off in droves for them because it has really uncovered the core of the issue that they came to us with. They just knew there was a symptom, something's wrong, and we've narrowed down on the exact problem where that symptom was leaking out to, kind of like a chiropractor. We've made some adjustments.
Absolutely.
We no longer have leaky gut issue. But I love those clients that are open enough to just to admit there is a problem. And honest enough to admit we don't know exactly what that is, but we're going to pay you to figure it out.
That's correct.
And 10 times out of 10, we figure out something.
That's correct. I mean, the analogy of the chiropractor is such a good one because for the people who are not like scared of chiropractors, I know there's like this whole world that thinks they're like anti whatever, but I have been going to chiropractors since I was 6, so almost 40 years. My parents were anyways
very well adjusted, Justin.
I wish we had sound effects to be like but it's so true because when your body, what a chiropractor is doing is basically just helping your body get back into its natural alignment. And when something is out of alignment, it doesn't work at its optimum. And that's so it's a great analogy to think through just of what is out of alignment that's keeping you from operating at its optimum, you know? And so, and the great thing about the audit too is, you know, sometimes we have executive level requesting the audit, and sometimes it's marketing managers saying, hey, would you come and do this? And a lot of times it's they already know what we're going to find. They just need the oomph, if you will, to prove the case, but they don't have time to slow down and do it. And then also that outside perspective of having someone else come in and just unbiasedly say, here's a huge red flag that you need to address right now.
Yeah.
And, or, you guys are doing decent. You're never going to hit your KPIs unless you start making these adjustments. So, yeah.
I had a chiropractor in Newport Beach, super fancy for a brief time. And it was funny because you'd be waiting in the waiting room to go to a room, like one of 3, and they had a recording that would say like, bing, client Haley or patient Haley, please report to room 2 to restore the arc of life.
That's fun.
And I was like, I just loved it every time because I never knew which of the recordings I was going to get that day. But yeah, just good times. So you're feeling the symptom, we're coming in and we're doing triage to find exactly and pinpoint where that is. So we love when clients come that way, but a lot of clients come thinking they know exactly what's wrong and exactly what they want, which I don't want to minimize that, but most of the time they come thinking they want something very specific. And we have that conversation with them in the discovery process as we would with our fractional CMO hats on, and just ask questions and steer them in a different direction to where they weren't even aware that was a direction they should be going in. And so I think that's something very unique about working with digifora. I'm not sure how every agency does it, but I know we're always going to think that way for you, even if you haven't signed an agreement with us and you're not an official client yet, because we want to make sure it's going to be a good partnership, but mostly like we want the best for you and for what you're looking for. And so there are some key things that I think we should look at when we as an agencies all around, when speaking with new clients. And that comes from our good friend, Abraham Maslow, not really a good friend, but brilliant psychologist in the mid-20s.
My BFF, going to sit down and talk about psychology this evening.
In the mid-20th century, he came up with the Maslow's Hierarchy of Needs stage, and you can see a pyramid. And it starts with our physiological needs. So the very most basic things, food, water, sleep, and warmth. And then it moves to address security and safety, becoming the next needs that people are interested in fulfilling. And that can include financial security, health and wellness, and safety from injury. And I think a lot of clients, when that financial security gets nudged, that becomes a problem. They're like, oh, there might be some marketing needed to help fix that problem. So that's when I want people to pay attention to, because a lot of CEOs or managers that come to us, they have that basic level, that first level fulfilled. And if that next level gets disturbed, that can be kind of where their red flag goes off. And they're like, I need help. I need somebody. I need an agency to come in and figure it out. Moving right along in the pyramid is social belonging, and that's prioritizing love, friendship, and intimacy. I mean, we can help be great friends to you if that's what you need, but that's usually not why clients are coming to us. It's just an added perk or benefit, and we'll take you to happy hour.
They do end up becoming friends. Like all of our digifora clients, the ones that are no longer engaged with us, we still get text messages from them and emails and phone calls and come visit requests. And so,
I think it's an added perk. I don't think they come to us for that, to fulfill those needs, but prove me wrong.
Maybe.
The next level, I think they do come to us for, is esteem and accomplishment and desiring appreciation and respect. They desire this for their companies. They want to be seen as thought leaders. And so we can help them do that.
Absolutely.
And then the final level is self-actualization. And this is where people are self-aware, concerned with personal growth, less concerned with the opinions of others, and interested in fulfilling their potential. This is where a lot of our coaching calls come into. They just want to be better and be the best at what they do. And we do coaching as well. That's another, we're not trying to sell our products right now, but some people just don't know. So we're helping you become self-aware of just more aware of what we offer for you. But it's interesting when you stop and identify in a call what those clients are looking for. And it really helps you to narrow in and hone in on those needs. And to take it even further, Maslow has pushed these all into two categories: deficiency needs, that's stemming from a lack of something. That's where a lot of clients tend to come by. And then growth needs. And that's not where maybe your financials are fine, but you just want to grow more. And we get some clients like that as well. But I feel like we tend to get more in the deficiency area, which is really interesting to me because a lot of people say when the economy's bad, the first thing to go is marketing.
That's right.
And Donald Miller would argue that there are two jet engines to your business airplane, and marketing is one of them. That's so correct. If you cut down at one of those jet engines, you're going to like have a crash landing somewhere. So it's just,
or do a bunch of circles.
We just saw Top Gun 2, Top Gun Maverick. Brilliant film. If you haven't seen it, go and check it out. But you just made me think of all like spinning out of control. And
it's true.
I think they do that in the first movie, maybe.
I think you're like, they do actually, but it's true. Like, it is interesting, you know, as you think through the hierarchy, how it does come into play in everything. Which is, I mean, most people are gonna be like, right, we knew that. But it is interesting, even for marketing clients or marketing teams, you should additionally be thinking through that as well on behalf of either your client or your constituency, because they're trying to think through it themselves. And so that's kind of what you and I are frequently guiding our clients through, because they stop seeing individuals and just start seeing statistics or percentages, which are fine. We're all responsible for bottom lines and growth and all that type of stuff, which is again why you and I are such huge proponents to moving away from B2B, B2C marketing and H to H or human to human marketing.
Absolutely.
Like there's no chance. I think people get derailed on that thought process because they think it's me marketing to one person at a time, and that's not what we're not suggesting. That it's just taking it down, even thinking through it through Maslow's theory hierarchy. It's how do we humanize this, and how do we appeal to all these levels of needs, and that's truly human to human marketing.
Definitely. And not to keep adding more theories or things into this, but we also remember the hero's journey. I was a film minor in college, and we went thoroughly through the hero's journey. And it starts with the hero, and then they encounter a problem. That's correct. And then they need help to overcome that problem and to win the day at the end. And so the hero are our clients coming to us as their guide, in a sense, to get them help overcome the problem, and to help them find a plan and a pathway to win the day at the end, or to find success. And that's really our role. How are we establishing ourselves as agencies, as the guide in these calls? And one way to do that, like we mentioned, is Maslow's hierarchy of needs, identifying what the actual needs are, because they're not just going to come and say it outright.
That's right.
They're going to say, oh, I need some Google ads running for my company. Well, why do you need Google ads? Oh, well, we are not getting enough business. Why are you not getting enough business? And then we dive down to see, whoa, your Google search tanked like 9 months ago. No wonder why you're feeling the effects of this. And so, sometimes it takes a little digging, but also just knowing what are the right questions to be asking. Can you think of, not to put you on the spot, but this happy hour, can you think of a question, a certain question that you tend to ask on discovery calls with clients, Justin?
There's two that, and you're probably going to know what they are before I say them. There's two I always end up with or bring up through the conversation. Is one, what is the end goal? Like, where are we trying to get to? Like, is it, I mean, because no one's just wanting to spend more money to spend more money. There's an end goal, there's a KPI. And so let's think about it and then work backwards, is one of the questions that I ask. The other one is, if money and time were not an issue, what does this look like? Because sometimes we try to squeeze everything into the box of time and or the box of the money that we have available to spend, and don't do that. Like, let's dream big, let's look big, because what you're trying to squeeze into a box, oftentimes you and I show up and be like, that's great, you don't have to squeeze it in that small box, we can come at it from this angle and still be able to get you to your dream with what you have, with the resources that you have available. So those are the two that I and they're simple, right? And they're simple for a reason, because sometimes it just is think out loud with us, because as we get the client talking, we realize like, yeah, we're coming to you for this help. But as they start talking, we start hearing all the other things that the CEO's concerned about, these things, or the CFO is asking questions about these things, or the marketing department's just stuck and they don't know how to navigate past it. And so it's all about getting people to talk.
Yeah. I'm definitely a proponent when it comes to this conversation of you get what you pay for as well. And so we've been in a lot of conversations with clients that they make it very clear, you're not the only conversation we're having. It's like, okay, you're trying to nickel and dime to see where you can get the best deal. But one word of caution I would like to give to clients who do that is take what we say, but for us, trust is a core value at digifora, and we're going to do what we say we're going to do, and we're going to do it well, because at the end of the day, it reflects our work as well. But also, like, we want to make sure that you succeed. And so I just bought a dress on an Instagram ad. I was trying to find my possibilities for bridal shower dresses, and there's just tons out there, and Instagram ads don't always tell you where they come from. So I get this dress in the mail, and I was so confused because it looked nothing like the picture that I saw of it. And it was like very see-through, and my fiance is like, is that a cover-up for your bathing suit? And I was like, no, this is supposed to be a beautiful, like, tiered, lacy type of dress, and it was like see-through. But then it wasn't that expensive. So I just learned, like, oh gosh, I'm getting what I pay for. I need to invest a little more in a nice dress for this nice event in my life. And because it's something I don't want to look back on and wish, oh gosh, I wish I would have spent just a little more money to have been completely satisfied. And potential clients, future clients out there, talk to other agencies, of course, but also remember, you get what you pay for.
That's right. That's right. And I agree with you. We've not landed every client, so I think that's something we need to continue to talk about. So we're not winning 100% of the pitches that we're pitching right now or getting. That's normal. I do think because we are such a young company, and you and I are 10 months into doing this together, 9 months into doing this together. We're at that point any day now. I suspect we're going to start getting calls from people who chose not to go with us to say, we should have gone with you guys. Like, we went with the cheaper route. You're more expensive. We don't trust these people. We're not happy with the product. Can we now work with you? And it's just, it's true. Like, it is there needs to be a trust component to it. There needs to be a relational equity in it. But don't let those things override. Like, don't put those things to rest because it's a smaller price tag or a cheaper price tag, which, again, we don't hide behind how, like, we're not the cheapest people to work with.
We're also not the most expensive either. I just want to put that out there.
Not even close. Not even close. But, it is, part of that is when clients show up and say, this is what we need. Sometimes the hard conversation that you and I have to have is, great, we agree you do need that. You also need about 10 times as much money as you think you're going to spend on it, just because in the day and age that we live in, and I would have thought that it would have changed a little bit with the Great Resignation, and just people are like, salaries are starting to correct themselves, and inequality across the board is starting to slightly tick upwards. It's still not where it needs to be, but it's getting slowly better. And people understand that it's just going to cost more money than we think it is. But it is surprising to me how many people show up and they're like, we need to spend hundreds of dollars. And we're like, you need to spend tens of thousands of dollars on this thing. And that's part of it too. Clients showing up saying, this is what I think. And part of our responsibility is you're right, you do, but you're
You're thinking about marketing costs from the 90s.
That's correct. That's correct. Or what you were paying 4 years ago. I mean, inflation alone is.
I'm sorry, the 1900s. Isn't that what kids say now?
My kids tell me all the time that you grew up in the late 1900s. I'm like, shut your mouth. So, but yeah, I mean, back to the original, like when our clients show up, sometimes it's, we need this, we agree, but we have to have a real hard conversation with you that, and it's not that we can't financially be that partner with you. You're not going to find anyone who can do it for that budget.
Yeah. And just like chiropractors, they have payment plans that they can work out depending on the treatment that you need.
Yeah, absolutely.
We're willing to have those conversations as well and create a payment plan that works for both parties. But everybody has bottom lines. At the end of the day, we're all operating businesses, and gotta love inflation.
That's right. It's a little out of control right now. So
cheers to being out of control.
Cheers. Well,
I don't know. Cheers to that.
I don't know about that one, but
I just felt like taking a drink.
So
anyway, to wrap up this podcast and conversation, we hope what you're hearing is that there are underlying needs under what most clients are approaching you with. So you can fine tune your ear to listen to those through Maslow's hierarchy of needs. And then also remembering the hero's journey, that you are helping somebody once they encounter this dilemma that they need help to overcome. And they're coming to you to see what your plan is and how you can help them overcome it. And so those are just some tips on how to deal with clients that don't know what they want when they come knocking at your door and other people's doors, apparently. But hopefully it helps give you some ammunition to help fire back for the things that they're looking for and what they need.
Yep, absolutely.
Anything to add, Justin?
Yes, the point being that it's just think clearly. And also, I remember being in the seat where people are being brought in to help me. And I think there's a posture thing too. So if you're listening to this or watching this and you're like, oh my God, my boss is bringing in help for me, just have a posture of grace with it too. They're doing the best that they can, and just have lots of honest conversations. We work with some churches, and it seems like churches are the ones that their teams tend to get the most bent out of shape when help is brought in. And so I don't know. It just
and for our next podcast, ego problems in the church.
Man, that could be a series.
I have a laundry list of guests I'm thinking of.
A series of conversations. So, anyways,
definitely, and hopefully on the next podcast we will have a special guest.
Yep, absolutely.
To be announced at a later time coming. So we're going to start bringing guests on the show. If you're interested in having a conversation during happy hour with us. Hit us up in the comments below and we'll take a look at that and see if we can make that work.
Absolutely.
Wonderful. Well, cheers.